Imagine going to an interview all charged up and fully prepared and looking forward to a challenging experience, but you come across an interviewer who does not know jack about what he or she is doing. As is, interviewers are very difficult in the best of circumstances, but they are made even more painful when the interviewer has no clue of how to take an interview. Unfortunately, many times certain organizations send in interviewers who are ill prepared, have zero guidance on how to conduct an interview. They don't even glance at your resume and just jump in. Well, my friend, life is unfair, and you will be lucky to come across a good interviewer in your career. But at times, you will come across an individual who is overly social, asking unprofessional questions with regards to your religion, your age, or maybe your marital status. Such interviewers have zero background about your expertise, and hence they fail to ask appropriate questions, and moreover, they are not even able to address some of your concerns. The list goes on, but I'm sure you get the picture. So the question that arises right now is that how do you deal with such an interviewer and get the conversation back on track? In this lecture, I will share with you certain tips and strategies that you can employ in order to deal with the bad interviewer and hopefully redeem the situation. The first thing that you must account for when addressed with such an annoying situation is that you cannot show irritation at any cost. Now, I know that bad interviewers can be very annoying and frustrating, and you feel like punching them at times, but this is something that you can never even think of doing. It is easy for disrespectful remarks to slip out when you are frustrated, but this will ruin your chances of getting that job. So instead, try to remain calm and maintain your composure, because once the interview is over, you can go back in your car and scream as loud as you can. The second point that I would like to get across is that when you are addressed with such a situation, try to guide the conversation. Remember, an interview is a two-way conversation, and if the interviewer is not steering the ship properly, then my friend, it is time for you to take over. So don't wait for the right questions. Instead, share the information that you feel is important for you to share during this interview. In doing so, be polite and pleasantly assertive. So when the interview is going off track, try to share statements like, I would like to share some of my experiences and how they can benefit your organization or your department. And back this up with a great accomplishment story. And don't be afraid to ask specific questions once you've given your answer. Remember, it is a two-way conversation and you have to make the best of the situation at hand. The next point that I would like to get across is that when you feel that the interviewer does not know what you're talking about, try to focus more on impact over details. And while doing so, try to explain your answers in layman terms. This is something that you will come across if you're a techie and you're addressed with an HR interview, because in some circumstances, the HR rep does not fully understand your technical skills or your background. So it is perfectly okay to say something like this. Are you familiar with this? Would it be beneficial if I explain a little more about this situation? And so on. The last point that I would like to get across is that during such an interview, you should try to focus on relevance. And you have to give relevant answers. If you feel that the interviewer is asking too many personal questions with regards to maybe your age, your religion, or your marital status, be very cautious. Over here, you don't have to share details, but at the same time, you cannot give a lecture on employment laws. This will be a very counterproductive move. Instead, you can ask statements or questions like, how is this relevant to the job role that you've applied for? Or how is this information relevant to the organization or the department that I will be working in? At the same time, if you're addressed with a personal question with regards to your family life, you can share something like this, that I'm not sure how this information is relevant to the job role, but as far as my commitment is concerned, I am willing to work overtime and will also be available over the weekends if required. Or you can say that you don't have any family commitments or responsibilities that will pull you out of your job. So by sharing such answers, you will hopefully be able to address that particular interviewer. In the worst case scenario, if you don't want to share any information with regards to a personal question, just tell him or her that how is this question relevant to the job role that you've applied for. And hopefully you will not come across such a question again during the interview. In the end, I would like to tell you that you never know why you come across such an interviewer. Maybe the organization values such people, or it could also mean that that interviewer is basically having a bad day. At the same time, try to realize the fact that if such jerks are conducting an interview, imagine what kind of individuals they have hired in the past. So there is a possibility that the organization is full of bad hires, and would you really want to work in such an organization? So don't get demoralized. Maybe this could be a blessing in disguise, so you don't end up in the wrong hole with the wrong people in the wrong organization. So stay focused, and don't treat this as a setback. There are many more better opportunities in the market out there for you.